Hello and welcome back. Sorry, I don't know what I'm doing. Confused you? Okay, so we're gonna route the channel on the neck for the truss rod. And I'll show you my setup here, and I'll talk a little bit about other ways you can do it. Because obviously, you don't have to do it the way I'm gonna do it in the video. It's just the way I'm doing it. The way I'm doing it right now is because I've done it a couple of times, so I'm sort of used to doing it that way. But it's also because I am I'm installing this truss rod, and I haven't done that before, so I'm going with a mix of things that I know how to do and a mix of things I've never done before. So yeah, this here is a little jig that I built that has it's basically two pieces of wood clamped. I'll give you a zoom in on it. It's basically two pieces of wood, and they're clamping the neck on each side. There's a bottom here, as you can see as well. There's a center line on it, and there is one of the sides here is cut to that center line. So whatever center line I have here will be parallel to this. That means that I can use this jig for two things. And one is I can put my router on this, and I can add this adjust thing here to it and set it up and run along like this, and it will all be very nice and smooth and good, and it will all work out perfectly fine for me, and the router will go with the center line like this, as you can see by me holding my finger there. The next thing I can do is also, for example, when I have a fretboard on, I can take my square and I can just hold it up like this, and it will always be square. And all my frets will just be, I can just put this on, draw them out, cut them. I'll talk more about fretboard and that in that video, so pay no attention to it in this. There are a lot of ways you can cut the channel for your truss rod. If you have a square piece of wood, like we had before we cut the neck out, you can do exactly what I'm saying in this video. You know, just holding this up here and going along on the edge of that, and you'll have basically cut out your center line. I didn't do it first because I wanted to get the neck out. I was thinking about putting in an angle on the neck. I had a bunch of ideas in my head. So I thought it was better to just cut the neck out first and worry about the truss rod later, since I have this jig that allows me to not necessarily have to do things in the same order, you know, if that makes sense. I don't have to follow a certain order of doing things, is what I'm trying to say. And yeah, what else is there to say about it, really? There are different ways you can cut out. Basically, any tool you have, you can use a little router, like a big router like this, but you can also use a Dremel on a router base, for example, if you wanna. I don't recommend it, it's not the best way to do it. You can use a circular saw, but if you look at a blade of a circular saw, because you'll get a very straight line, so it will work, but you have to take in account how far down into the wood you're actually cutting, and think about that curved line, because the truss rod's end is square and not rounded. So if you cut down into the wood a bit like this, then you will have to take that into account so that you stop a fair bit too early, so that you don't cut to the depth that the truss rod needs at the end, where the truss rod is ending, because then you will have to go even further. And so you'll have to either chisel that out or route that out and make that end work. Second, I want to say, because I realize that a lot of people are worried about doing this. This is not high-tech, super hard to do, something that is impossible to do. The only thing that really matters is that you make sure you're doing this correctly, and that you're taking your time to make sure you get a perfect fitting truss rod, and that you're not doing anything weird and strange that is gonna mess you up. So let's start out by seeing if we have a bit that is the right size. So this truss rod is 6 mils on the dot. Do I have a bit that is 6 mil? I think this one is. I'm gonna see if I can get it out. Can I get it out? If you can't pull them out with your fingers, don't force it because you'll cut yourself. Take something and grab it by the base, like I'm doing here, and see if you can pull it out. Because your fingers running along like that, you will definitely cut yourself. What size is this? Let's see. Let's measure this. It probably even says on the package. No, it doesn't. This is a 3. So it's too small. So I'll have to go to my big box of routing templates. Router bits. Let's see if I can find a 6 mil. What is this? Is this a 6 mil? It feels like it's way too fat to be a 6 mil. This is a 8. Yeah. So I have this big box here. You don't need to get one of these, but I actually kind of like them. Because you get a bunch of bits. And the thing that I like about this, because I know someone is going to say, you don't need this. I know that I don't need this. Most of these I've never used. But sometimes you come up with crazy things that are fun and interesting to do because you have tools that can do something, you know? So this is a 4, which it says right there. The 6 is there, and as you can see, it is not there. Where the hell is it? That means it's in 2 other places, because I have a couple of places for bits. Okay, let's see. Here is a box of bits. It's not there because this is I need to reorganize. I hope it's not going to be that most of these videos are just me rummaging through my stuff trying to find stuff, and that you'll get bored. I found it. I had to put it in a stupid place. The thing I want to tell you before I screw this in is, you can sometimes get away. I know that other people will tell you that this is not true, but you have a little bit of a wiggle room with how far in you push these. You should make sure they are really secured whenever you're using router bits. Don't mess around with being silly, but you have a little bit of a wiggle room. I hope you understand what it is I'm trying to say and that you're not doing something stupid. But this time, let's try to push this in a little bit extra, because we're not going to go very deep at all. This is, how far down are we going? We're going about 9 millimeters, a little bit more, and that's not very deep. It's one thing if you have to go 24 millimeters or something, but this is not a lot. So let's push this in a little bit extra, make sure it's even more secure, make sure this doesn't wobble or anything like that. The machine is unplugged. It's down here. You already know the drill. Make sure you don't have any electricity or anything in your machines when you're switching things out on them, because you don't want to accidentally want to do something that will hurt you. Obviously accidents are bound to happen, but try to make sure that whatever accident you're going to happen have is not accidentally starting a drill, or I mean a router, when you're changing bit, because you're gonna lose your fingers, and your fingers is like one of the most precious thing you have. So please be careful. If not for yourself, then at least do it for me. You know? Just gonna give this one a squirt. Take it out and protect it. Since it's a new bit, I'd like it to remain new for as long as I can, so cleaning it off a little bit is a good idea. Just because I can. Love that smell of rust removal and oil. Let's just screw this in and attach it. Screw it in, push it up, and then clamp it down. Ah, come on. Yeah. Something like that. It's in, it's secured. And let's put it up here. Let's bring the blade down to the body. And let's bring in our truss rod. We have the adjustment here on the side, and if we loosen it and push it down all the way to 0, we can align our truss rod with that. Yeah, so push in the truss rod, push this in, and just hold this down and tighten it. So now it can't go any further than that. Next thing to do is to take our base here. I'm gonna move the camera. This is one of those times when I'm recording and you are in the way, basically. So there we have it, and well, let's bring you up a bit and zoom you in. Something like that, maybe? Is that good enough? So basically, I'm gonna put this in, guard, like this, and I'm gonna align this. It's not plugged in yet, so I don't have to worry. I'll center it up on the line. I'll use the very edge here to make sure it is perfect, and then I'll clamp down on this guard like so. I'll move it way to the side. I'll add one more clamp on this side here, just to make sure everything is perfect, so it can't move. Everything is secured, everything is exactly where I want it, everything is exactly. I'll run it along like this, and I can see that, yeah, I'm gonna have a little bit of an issue with the neck hitting the very last 5 mils. This outcut here goes too far, so that's going to be an issue. But other than that, we are going to be able to do this, and we're going to do 3 passes. I think we'll take, it's about a little bit, it's 10 mils, maybe 5 passes, I don't know. Anyway, let's get this over with. Everything is aligned, everything is right. I've double checked it. I'll check it again once I plug this in. Yeah. I think I'm going to have one hand here so I can feel it. So let's bring this down and just slowly cut away the first. Let's go 2 mil. Something like that. I think it's all good. Start the machine. And then we have the first 2 mil or something, and then we just bring it back here, we bring it down again, oh, that much, something like that. We feel around, hold it securely, and we start up the machine. I'm starting it a couple of mils behind where I'm going to cut, so that I can bring in the spinning blade into the wood and not jump start it in and get tear outs. Okay, so yeah, leave that standing there. I think that's good. I'm gonna do something that I know some of you maybe won't approve of. But I need to do it that way to get it out of the way. So just I'll show you. Sometimes you have to just improvise your life. So I'm getting a pen and ruler, and I'm gonna line this here, and I'm gonna just draw these lines out to extend the cut, so that I know exactly how far extra I need to go and I don't do anything weird. And now I'm gonna remove this base. It's in the way for this extra little horn up here, which is just out of frame. And I'll just flip the router over, bring it down to its depth. So we're doing the full depth, and I'm just slowly, really slowly gonna remove the rest of this. Something like that. Okay. Alright, so here it is. It's well routed and everything. Let's see what happens if we put this down here. What do we have? Okay. That looks good. All the way, except for up here, where we need to just remove very, very little. Just a slight bit on each side. So, let's just let's just do that. We'll mark it out, something like that. Actually, I'll freehand route it just because it's such a little amount. I don't think it's going to be a problem. Okay. There we go. Can we get it in? No. We need to adjust ourselves a little bit more. Right. First of all, we need to square up this upper end, which maybe you can see it. But obviously the router left it round, so let's just remove a tiny bit of wood with a chisel. So, switch over to 6mm. Something like that. And then we take the truss rod and we fiddle with it a little bit extra. How does it look? It goes in there, goes up here, and yeah. Right there we have a little bit of wood we have to remove. Let's zoom out a little bit. Here we need to just touch it. It's not even a mil on each side. It's super small amount. So let's just do that real quick, if we can. Which we can, obviously. We can do anything we want. I'm a little bit worried about this truss rod being so I don't know. There we have it, it's in. Question really is, how easy is it to pull out? You know, like how easy is it to pull out? Okay, it's really in there, but maybe that's just me doing a good job. How the hell am I getting it out? I mean, the neck is a glue-in neck as well, so we shouldn't have to worry too much about things that we shouldn't have to worry about, right? But I can't help but worry anyway. Worry is my middle name. I usually go back and forth like this all over the neck a bunch of times to just make sure everything is good. So that's another thing that, you know, that is a part of it. Just put in the truss rod, take it out, put it in, take it out. Because once everything is glued up, it's really, really hard to do anything about anything. So make sure you're happy before the glue up. And there we go. And there we go. I'm gonna give it a little bit of a tap. I know I shouldn't have to, but I don't know why it's sticking up. Yeah, I think it just needed a tap. Tap, a tap, a tap. You know, from The Simpsons. Right, right, right. I'll take something straight and I'll feel it across the neck. Bring this up a little bit so that it's the neck that I'm touching, not anything else. Something like that. Yeah. Okay, and I'll look down the neck, and I can tell that we need to. I think we need to route away a little bit more. Just a little bit more. So we'll redo everything we just did, but with just remove 1/3 of a mil or something. So let's see if we can do that. You don't have to see me route again. Yeah, I had to take away a little bit more and finalize the shape a little bit. I had an area here where I had to take away a little bit more. You can't really feel the height difference because it's so low, but you can notice it when you're measuring. And I used these sort of measuring gauges for that. This is a tool. It has all these stickers sticking out, and on them there is a measurement. Like this is 25 of a mil, for example, so 1/4, and this is 0.08 of a mil, so it's super thin. I don't even know if you can see it. It's, you know, you can barely feel it. Yeah, anyway, I don't remember which one I used, but I used something like 24 or something, and I just rerouted this a little bit. Put on the guard, I did everything again. And now I can just put this here, and it can fit in perfectly. I don't have to force it or anything, so it's in there. It looks good. Give it a little bit of a tap in that direction, I think. Yeah, that's good. Okay, so here we have the fretboard, and it needs to go on. But I kind of want to put it over this. But the question is, should I put it over it too much, or just? I mean, a part of me want to make it flush like this. I'll zoom in for you guys. Wow. Part of me want to put it flush like that. I think that could look nice and neat, but another part of me want to do it like that and maybe do a little bit of a carved thing where I take that piece of wood out and I make it look nice. So I'm just gonna do it this way. I'm gonna put it on like that, basically. I'm gonna yeah, right, that's what I'm gonna do. Don't ask me why, because I honestly don't know. I've never used this truss rod before, so I don't know. I'm gonna put it on like so, and I'm gonna square it up so I find the middle. I'm gonna put a razor blade up to find the sweet spot, or at least I'm gonna try. Wait, no. Let's adjust this whole thing so we can work on it. So, I'll adjust you as well, I think. I hope you can see what I'm doing, but I'm trying to figure out, because I have to cut this piece off, or not obviously, but I have to cut this off before I glue it on. This is going to be really hard to do otherwise. So the neck is on the. I wish I had a square that was really small. So, can I square those two lines up offhand? I think I can. So, and then we just need this measurement, which is, this is 6 mil, so let's give ourselves a little bit more. 7, 8. Sounds good. And redraw those lines. So, and yeah. Did I wait? I don't think I actually measured it. Silly. Silly, silly, silly. There we have it. There we have it. And then we're there. And we'll just connect these. I hope everything is in frame, or at least somewhat in frame, so that you get an idea of what it is I'm doing. There we have it. There we have a little square. So I just used a small saw to cut those lines, and I'm just going to take and try to cut through here with a bunch of different tools. It is important, because this is one of those, I don't like this, because this is like finesse work at a too early stage in the process. So far we've only been doing things that are not really that difficult, because it's just, you know, from the ground up sort of woodworking. But now all of a sudden we have a tiny bit of actual finesse work, where we have to actually make sure we're not doing something that might end up in some sort of thing. So I don't know, I don't like it. I don't like it. We're not there where we're doing that sort of things yet. So yeah. I don't know. No? They don't plug you in? Okay, so I just did a mistake. I mean, it's not a very bad mistake, so I mean, everything is good, but I plugged in this router forgetting that I was going to replace the bit in it. because it's super dull, so it just burned all the wood. Never mind, let's clean this up with a file. So a fine-toothed file. I don't need to have ear protection on when I'm using a file. I can talk to you in a more normal voice. Let me just realign this. Yeah, but you see that, like, this is the kind of small fiddle work that I wanted to do later. But we have to do it now, because once the fretboard is on and the truss strut is covering this area, it's going to be very hard to work on it. So we have to do it now. Something like that. We're almost there. Something like that. I think that's gonna be good. We'll take a look and see what happens. Yeah. Right. Right there. Yeah. Yeah. Let's make a mark. Where's the pen? On the floor. It's unacceptable. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. And we'll cut this fretboard down to size real quick, right there. We don't need it to go over more than that. Let's square it off. I know this piece of wood is square. And see if this is square. It is a tiny bit off, but it's not important because we're gonna move everything around a little bit there. Okay, that looks nice. Give me a sec. All right, so here is the neck right now. As you can see, it's all good. It's all great. We have the thing here, and I was about to stress and go crazy and just, you know, I'm on a roll. So I'm going to glue on the fretboard now, but we're going to end this video here. And I'm going to continue working and gluing on the fretboard and all of that, and make gluing on the fretboard its own video, because I think that's also one of those things. I could be wrong. You guys told me that you wanted as many videos as possible, cutting everything down into as small detail as possible. So yeah, we're going to jump into a Q&A now, and let's see what you guys had to ask me about and all of that. So goodbye, and washababoo.
It's time for the Q&A, yeah.
So, for this episode's Q&A part, I didn't get any questions, but I'll tell you this much. Installing a truss rod might seem like it's really hard, or that it's potentially a disaster if you don't get it wrong. If you get it wrong. And I would say yes, that's true. If you install the truss rod crooked, then you will bow your neck or twist your neck with the truss rod whenever you adjust it, which means that the truss rod will be useless, and that's not good. Obviously, you can make a neck that doesn't need a truss rod. I wouldn't suggest it unless you know exactly why or where that guitar is going, so that you can basically keep it for yourself and all of that. But if you just make sure that you measure everything twice and that you're dead center on what you're doing and focused, and that you're doing the job when you are most concentrated. For example, if you have had a super stressful day and it's really late, and you can either relax and watch a fun movie and take it easy and recharge your batteries, or you can stressfully hurry up and get this over with and force yourself to work even though you're tired and can't really pay much attention to it. Then I would suggest, and I hope you agree with me, that it's better to just relax and watch a funny movie and maybe leave this for another day. Obviously, if you build guitars and that's how you make your livelihood, it's not that easy. But if you're a hobbyist, which I think most who watch this channel is, I would say you can just do it a day when you can focus on it to 100%. So yeah, it's not hard to do. If you have the tools to do it, even if you have to do it by hand or with a tool different than I'm using in the video, because you can do it with, for example, a circular saw. Obviously, you have to install the truss rod before you start cutting out the shape of the neck then, but you can go that way. And yeah, as long as you make sure that you're mentally prepared and ready to do it, and you're willing to spend the extra time double checking and triple checking every measurement and making sure that everything aligns the correct way, installing a truss rod is not that hard, and it's not that craving from you, and it gets easier as well. If you do it for a couple of times, it gets easier to do. So build the guitar neck, and if you fail and it becomes crap, pull the truss rod out and try again. It sucks to have to buy new wood, but hopefully you learn something. Most likely you will learn something. I know you will learn something. Okay? So, until next time, thanks so much for watching, and don't forget to stay awesome and cool.